Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the main news on Camnet TV. Here are the top stories making headlines in our news tonight. A heavy rainstorm leaves 35 families in LUNDAZI district homeless. Governance activists advise politicians to focus on issue-based politics. Government urged to lower the people's expectation on development. In international news, police disperse opposition demonstrators in Madagascar. And in sports news, CHIPOLOPOLO coach AVRAM declares the team ready for the 2026 World Cup qualifiers. Do join me for the details after this.
Introducing Darren B, a touch of class. Are you looking for the perfect place to elevate your style and glam up? Look no further. Darren B Touch of Class is your one-stop destination for hair and makeup transformation. Walk into Darren B and walk out feeling like a star. Your transformation starts here. Call us on 0772 870 588 or WhatsApp on 0972 049 213 to book your appointment today. Payments are made via mobile money or point-of-sale machine. Strictly no cash payments. We are located along Mossy Road in Ibex Hill, fourth close on the left after Kalikiliki Police Post. At Darren B, we pride ourselves on our team of dedicated and trained personnel ready to pamper both women and children. Darren B is open 7 days a week from 0720 hours to 1740 hours. From trendy hairstyles and stylish makeovers to flawless makeup, we do it all. Darren B, a touch of class.
With the news in detail, my name is Sylvia Zulu. Some members of the public have urged citizens in the country to be conscious when purchasing meat products amid the outbreak of anthrax disease and not rely on authorities to curb the spread of the disease. Timothy Chalwe observes the Lusaka City Council alone cannot manage to curb the spread of the disease. But Mtendere Ward 34 Councillor Boniface Chibeka has observed a lack of seriousness from the City Council as he explains that his ward has reported 6 cases of anthrax. Meanwhile, Lusaka City Council Public Relations Officer Bulamba Nyambe says the council has heightened random inspections and warns those disregarding the directive.
As of 2nd November 2023, about 335 anthrax cases and 4 deaths were recorded countrywide, with Lusaka standing at 13 cases. Southern Province topped the list with 269 cases and 2 deaths, followed by Eastern Province with 30 cases and Western Province with 19 cases, among others. While citizens are still deciding whether to cut off meat on their menu or not, some Lusaka residents have called on citizens to safeguard their lives by doing the right things to keep the spread of the disease. The residents explain that the fight cannot only be left to authorities like local councils, but every citizen must play a part.
Institution yonse vakanso vamiliso veoti kuti tumenye nkondo ya matenda tuyasirizi vakanso vekasivanga kwanisi koma ife vantu tonse titandizane na kanso ndio panemba tizakwanisa kusidzana matenda
sakuva tifali bonze chira muntu avenga wakuisopesha umwine fye mumutima wawe ngamona ti chintu chinati kwateuwafya kwali wafya kweva tilimbi waipika yayapya indisitumo tumatenda tulatusinapya so tumaleta problem twakweva tulu waliashani nangu waipika shani situmo tuyokushishita.
Meanwhile, Mutendere Ward 34 Councillor Boniface Chibeka of Lusaka's Manali constituency says there is no seriousness from the city fathers, Lusaka City Council, in containing the further spread of the disease. Mr. Chibeka alleges that he has made several reports to the Lusaka City Council on unknown meat suppliers flooding Mutendere Market amidst reports of 6 cases of anthrax being recorded in the area.
That Mtendere recorded about 6 cases of anthrax cases, and it is suspected that it actually came from Mtendere Market. There are some marketeers in the evening at Mtendere Market who sell some meat stuff there for both for pork as well as beef. also the chickens from there. And I also reported to Lusaka City Council through Public Health Department, but up to now Council has not moved in because those people, even today, even as of last evening, they are still selling that kind of meat.
Meanwhile, the Lusaka City Council says it is working around the clock to ensure the meat supplied to markets is inspected and certified for human consumption.
Currently dispatched public health officers and inspectors who are currently on the ground. We are targeting compounds and markets. That is on the part of public health officers, and on the part of inspectors we are targeting markets, butcheries, abattoirs, and some open markets. So with the compounds, we are sensitizing them, educating them about this particular disease, because we've noted with concern that some people are particularly not aware of what this particular disease is all about, how it comes about, how it is prevented. So we are concentrating on that area.
Anthrax is a bacterial disease of animals but can affect humans and has been a subject of concern in the context of biological struggle. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Over 35 families in Lundazi district have been left homeless after their houses were brought down following a heavy storm that hit the district. Lundazi District Commissioner Marjorie Banda confirmed the development to Camnet TV News after visiting the victims. Ms. Banda names the affected villages as Chimutiulu, Kalonje, Muntalo, and Kaitinde. Ms. Banda, however, said she was happy with the government's quick response to come to the aid of the victims. She says the government, through the Disaster and Mitigation Unit, DMMU, has provided tents and food for the victims.
This is a trail of destruction left after a heavy storm swept through some villages in Chief Mpamba's area in Lundazi district. Over 35 families have been thrown in the cold after their homes were brought down. The stranded victims are now calling for aid from government.
Tikamanya chakutene chiuta ngatipulumusa kone chiuta ngwa ngongoni pakuti beka boma ili naonga chomene aichechi paivo isi vatipangira pamoja na DC ya mama
kupemba kuti mphani ili luso a DC na boma ili nawo vanyitu tukolelezana nawo pamoza tipitirizge mwakuti tiovwire mzinda witu wa Zambia yose.
And government has quickly responded to the cries of the victims and provided many meal and tents for the victims. Soldiers were spotted on the scene erecting tents for some of the stranded victims. Lundazi District Commissioner Marjorie Banda, who visited the scene Saturday, says the district sourced for aid for the victims as soon as the matter was reported to her office.
On Monday we had disasters in my district. It occurred in the night when the rain started, blew off 35 houses. So being the chairperson, when the report was reported to say the houses have gone, we waited for our disaster management mitigation from the province to give us something, where we are given 25 tents, also some mini meals to come and give to the house that were vulnerable. So we've managed to plant down the houses for all 25 houses at the moment, remaining with a 10.
The quick response from government through the office of the district commissioner has elated the villagers and the ward councillor.
I just want to thank the government for the quick response which they have shown up. Otherwise, just recently we had a disaster where a lot of houses were blown off by the heavy rainfall. And I just reported the matter to the district commissioner and the member of parliament, where they promised to intervene as quickly as possible.
Taonga ise boma la Hakainde Hichilema kutovwira pangani nkhani ya nyumba mwili weukira. Nyumba iri kumaranadi ndipo tiri vantu vakusuzgika. So boma latiganizira ise pano kuti ikirapo tent pano pa nyumba kweniso na ufu, because vose vinhu zvikamimba vose vikava kuzumba fertilizer ufu. So takara kusuzgika, so mwatitawati boma mulazira pano taonga chomene ise.
As the rain season draws near, it is prudent for those living in flood-prone areas to take necessary precautions to avoid being victims. Reporting for Camnet News, my name is Makoko Akozi.
The government, through the Ministry of Community Development and Social Services, has called on the public to be alert to all forms of child abuse. Ministry's Acting Director for Child Development, Beatrice Nyambango, has further discouraged members of the public from giving money to children on the streets, but rather take them to institutions that can take care of their needs. Meanwhile, Mbabala Member of Parliament, who is also Parliamentary Caucus on Children Chairperson, Joseph Musanje, disclosed that the caucus is working with traditional leaders to harmonize customary and statutory laws to curb child abuse.
Many children and adolescents in Zambia face multiple vulnerabilities, including household poverty, exposure to violence, family separation, lack of education, malnutrition, HIV, early pregnancy, and child marriage, among others. These impact the development and growth of children and adolescents, reducing opportunities for them to thrive, to reach their full potential, and to contribute to the healthy and well-being of the country. Government, through the Ministry of Community Development, has called on the members of the public to be alert to all forms of child abuse.
Call upon everybody seated here to be alert to both activities that endanger the future of our children and all those types of cares that look like they are cares but certainly not. For instance, somebody who gives money to a begging child on the street, that's not care. Be aware of all those queer happenings in the community and report them to the relevant authorities, or right there and then counter-react them.
Speaking during a collaborative workshop between the Coalition on Alternative Care for Children and the Parliamentary Caucus on Children, Mbabala Member of Parliament, who is also the chairperson of the Parliamentary Caucus, Joseph Musanje, disclosed that the caucus is working with a traditional leadership across the country to align customary to statutory law to sketch down all forms of child abuse in their chiefdoms.
We are working with the House of Chiefs to continue to sensitize them and ensure that customary law is aligned to the statutory law, because that is where the majority of the issues we face in our communities are in our villages. We need to build morally upright children. We need to build hard-working children in line with the motto of His Excellency, work, 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 and work. So we need to ensure that we are building children who are hard-working. We need to build children who are going to be productive citizens to the economy of the country, who are going to contribute to the economy of the country and the like. So that cultural change and shift which we want, the Zambia want to see, starts with these children.
Andy Techitechi, Member of Parliament, Tuambo Mutinta, proposed that the free education be made compulsory so that parents and guardians are compelled to take their children to school.
We should all come together again and make education not only free, but compulsory. I think that's something that we should all come together. Because there's no value of making education free when we still have parents that do not take their children to school. Up to now, even with free education, we still have children who are in the streets. So we need to reach a point where we become very clear on the punishment that should be meted to the parents who are not taking their children to school. At the moment, there's no punishment. Even if there's free education, even if you don't take a child to school, there's no punishment.
Children in Zambia continue to face abuse, neglect and violence, according to Save the Children 2023 report. Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
Dozens of war veterans, diplomats, service chiefs and government officials, among others, on Sunday, 12 November 2023, trooped to the National Cenotaph in Lusaka to commemorate Remembrance Day in honor of the fallen heroes of the First World War. The day, officiated by Zambia's Republican President Hakainde Hichilema, saw Bishop Kondwelani Sakala of the Zambia Police Chaplaincy remind the current generation to honor those who lost their lives in wars, as the current freedom in the country is a testament to the lives of others. Speaking on the sidelines of the celebration, retired Brigadier General Jackson Nyangwe also reminded the country's citizenry to uphold unity and peace in the country for development to take center stage. Remembrance Day is an annual memorial observed by a 2-minute silence to honor the servicemen, women and civilians who lost their lives in the war hostilities, which ended at the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918.
Remembrance Day, also known as Armistice Day, is a memorial day observed in Commonwealth member states to honor members of the armed forces who lost their lives in the line of duty during the First World War and subsequent conflicts. The day is observed on November 11th each year to mark the armistice signed between the Allies and Germany, which ended the hostilities on the Western Front of World War I. The armistice took effect on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918. On this day, people often participate in ceremonies, wear red popes as a symbol of remembrance, and observe a 2-minute silence at 11 hours a.m. to pay respect to the fallen soldiers. While the day is an opportunity for reflection on the sacrifice made by military personnel and serves as a reminder of the human cost of war, Zambia's Republican President Hakainde Hichilema this morning, Sunday, 12 November 2023, led dozens of war veterans, diplomats and service chiefs to lay wreaths at the cenotaph in Lusaka as part of the remembrance. And in a homily, Bishop Kondwelani Sakala called on the current generation to honor those who lost their lives in wars, as the current freedom in the country is a testament of their lives and sacrifice.
For this year is fitting. The heroes and heroines who we celebrate today were selfless men and women who did not count their lives so dear to keep them from giving a service to the cause of peace. They went and fought even when it meant fighting with their lives.
Remembrance Day is commemorated worldwide to honor war veterans who died in the line of duty. As such, retired Brigadier General Jackson Nyangwe called on citizens in the country to uphold unity and peace.
You get to countries like that, displaced people start running away from your own country. Hunger sets in, development doesn't take place, and therefore it is just key and very cardinal that we maintain our peace.
The 2023 Remembrance Day has been commemorated under the theme Remembering and Honoring Service. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Economic and Equity Party EPP President Chilufya Tayali has appealed to the United Party for National Development UPND administration to be honest and explain to the people the challenges it is facing to meet some of its campaign pledges, such as lowering the cost of living. Mr. Tayali believes the United Party for National Development UPND government has not performed as expected. He, however, says the prevailing economic problems are not unique to Zambia, saying many nations are equally affected by the global issues such as post-COVID-19 challenges and the war in Ukraine and Gaza. Mr. Tayali says communication is important in order to lower the people's expectations, saying the UPND should desist from comparing itself with the PF, as the approach will only benefit the previous administration. The opposition leader says it is very difficult to appreciate anything good the UPND has done because the people's expectations are too high compared to what they have delivered so far.
But I have got these challenges and this challenge and this challenge, and the only money that I managed to raise is 100 kwacha. You would appreciate, because I've told you my problems. Then I just give you, I was supposed to give you 1,000, then I just give you 100 kwacha. You'll be like, come on, you promised me 1,000 kwacha. So you need first to explain your challenges. And this would be my appeal to the UPND, that they need to explain their challenges. And from my point of view, actually, the challenges that we are facing, they are not unique to Zambia. The world over at the moment is having an economic meltdown. We have seen challenges even in developed countries, you know, Britain. We have seen challenges even in America. Number one, the war that has been going on between, first of all, before we even talk about the war, we had that COVID. From the COVID, we went into Ukraine-Russia war. And amidst all that, there has been this Cold War between the Americans and the Chinese. This has been affecting us. Now, we even have the Middle East war. So the challenges that we are having, really, they are going to be there for some time. And I wish the UPND would have been good to explain to people that we have these global challenges, but we also have our own challenges that we are learning how to walk. We are learning the ropes of government. Instead of, because their problem has been pointing at PF. No, PF did this, PF did this, PF did this. But unfortunately, as it is, people, when they compare PF and UPND, things are looking better on the side of PF. So it is a wrong strategy to be comparing yourself to somebody who left a bag of midi meal at 120 when you are selling a bag of midi meal at 300. So they should have avoided that. But unfortunately, they have gone on that trajectory instead of looking at the real facts that are actually affecting our economy.
Some stakeholders have observed a need for Zambian politics to shift from that of character assassination to strategies based on providing solutions through progressive ideas. Renowned historian Bizek Piri says politics should not be based on tribal remarks and hate speech, but focus on how the country can progress. Meanwhile, a political researcher, Dr. Kepas Mukuka, predicts that politics of hate may disrupt the peace the country has been enjoying for the past 59 years. But Alliance for Community Action Executive Director Laura Miti says politics of hatred are a result of lack of research by the citizens and political players.
Politics is the process of making decisions that apply to members of society. It involves the distribution of power and resources, as well as the creation and implementation of laws and policies that affect people's lives. But 59 years down the line, some stakeholders have bemoaned the need to practice politics of ideas meant to make society better placed. Over the years, Zambia's growing democracy has seen the setting up of various political parties with ambitions of forming government. However, historian and political scientist Professor Bizek Piri says the country should begin to embrace politics of goodwill. Professor Piri believes politics should be a competition of ideas and not destroying one's character.
Is a reflection of people coming together. So, our leaders should learn from that, the history where we've come from, and move towards uniting this nation. We should not be talking about tribal politics. Tribal politics is long gone. Today, most people, particularly the younger generation, if you ask them, where is your village? For most people, their village is Lusaka, or their village is Copperbelt, or their village is Livingstone, not because they come from southern province, but because their parents worked there and that's the only place they know. So you can't be talking about regional politics in Zambia today, 59 years after independence.
A political researcher, Dr. Kefas Mukuka, predicts if the politics of hate continues, Zambia's peace of 59 years may be disturbed. Dr. Mukuka observes that politics of ideas should be promoted in order to lure the younger generation to join into politics. But Alliance for Community Action Executive Director Laura Miti believes for politics of goodwill to be practiced in the country, there is a need for the country to fall in love with research.
Unfortunately, leaders are the same. So leaders are the ones who are showing the country that you can just talk. It doesn't matter. As long as you have a platform, you can talk. So I would really hope, even for young people, I think maybe we need to go back to our schools, teach children to speak, teach children to research, and maybe we can have a new generation of Zambians that can speak without insulting, can disagree without insulting. And I'm not saying disagree even nicely, but you can disagree very, very robustly while being analytical, while being intellectual, and without insulting anybody. So the space we are in terms of engagement is very poor.
Politics determines how resources, rights and responsibilities are distributed and how conflicts are resolved in society. What then does Zambia need in this field?
Planting information and stories so that we start fighting amongst ourselves, so that
Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
New Heritage Party leader Chishala Kateka has backed calls to reintroduce the Ministry of Gender to speak for women and women-related issues, according to research by Oxford Policy Management. More than a third of all women in Zambia have experienced physical violence and 17% have experienced sexual abuse in their lives. Ms. Kateka, however, says gender-based violence and inequalities have persisted not because of the lack of the gender ministry, but the culture that favors men over women.
Gender-based violence has continued to exist, and say it's because we don't have a ministry. It's because of a culture that we have. And those ministries will do is to help speak into the issue. They don't prevent it because it's there. It is there. However, as women, we would like to see a representation, because then we are able to highlight certain issues. That ministry speaks for the women and women-related issues, and there are many, just not the gender-based violence, but there are many issues that the ministry will speak to, and that's why a number of us are advocating for a reinstatement of the gender ministry.
You're watching the main news on Camnet TV. We now take our facet of commercials. Do join me with more news after the break.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Are you planning to marry or get married? Contact the Camnet media team for a professional capturing of your big day in life. Let your relatives, friends and the nation join you in celebrating your big day on television. Just at a manageable fee, Camnet Television will cover and transmit your wedding on your channel of choice. Contact the marketing department on mobile number. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
I give my love to heaven home.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We now continue with more news. The Luapula Miners and Mineral Association has bemoaned the slow pace at which the Mines Cadastre Department is processing mining licenses. Association Vice Secretary General Nathan Nyangwe notes that the process of acquiring a license is cumbersome, especially for local miners. Meanwhile, the Small Scale Miners Association of Zambia President, Pastor Joseph Mwansa, has urged the government to ensure that Vendata operates within the agreement for the country to benefit economically.
Mining is a major economic sector in the country, contributing significantly to the Zambian government revenues, mainly through mining royalties and value-added tax. The sector is mainly dominated by foreign investors, and local tycoons, bold enough to invest in the sector, are facing various challenges, among them difficulties in obtaining licenses. The Luapula Miners and Mineral Association is concerned with the slow pace at which the Mines Cadastre Department is processing mining licenses.
The Cadastre Department has been going on a slow pace to process these licenses. For example, if you had a valid mining license, then it comes to an A. We are saying as miners that it shouldn't take time to renew it, like you are launching a new application. You already have the license, you are already on the ground. Why should it be taking 2 years, honestly, 3 years? Then we are killing development. How can we develop if the licenses are moving at that slow pace?
Meanwhile, Small Scale Miners Association of Zambia President Pastor Joseph Mwansa has urged the government to ensure that Vedanta operates within the agreement for the country to benefit economically.
If the government have agreed to work with this company with check and balance in a transparent manner, we are going to see our economy improving, even GDP, it will increase, especially that the government, they have a goal they would like to achieve in few years to come, 3 million tons. That is their projection. If this company will work in a transparent manner, our economy definitely will increase because we will improve because of the production, which I believe it will also improve.
The mining sector is not only a major contributor to the country's economy, but also a significant source of formal employment, mostly for locals. Vincent Piri for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
About 11,000 farmers have so far received farming inputs in Chikakata district out of 13,400 farmers with authorization cards to access the inputs. Confirming the development, Chikankata Member of Parliament Jacqueline Sabao applauded the distribution of the inputs and called for the construction of a storage facility in the district. Ms. Sabao is optimistic that the distribution of the inputs is timely to cushion the higher cost of living for next year. And some of the farmers spoken to have expressed happiness at the distribution of the farming inputs.
For living to his promise of the better Zambia for all. In this case, I'm talking about delivering fertilizer on time. As the people of Chikankata have received all the inputs, at the moment we have everything in our district. The only challenge we have right now is the issue of the storage of these inputs. However, our people are receiving the fertilizer and they are very happy with the new Dawn government. Because when we were campaigning, one of the promises we told the Zambians was the issue of agriculture. And as Chikankata being an agriculture area, for us to receive fertilizer on time, it means that it will help us to plant on time and to have enough products next year. Meaning that even this issue of minimum price, for us it's not an issue. In fact, us as Chikankata, we are happy that the floor price was increased from 180 to 280.
So, umabwetuwa wati. So tuwakoma na kuti fertilizer mujindi, kuti tukakutangia mujindi, kuti tuwakute kuzibuboto. Koti ulaya kuwabi yose kutaka.
Ga nyemu. Ga mwi ota hola nyemu, hola gasaga gaswaya pisi. Uno mwaga ube mbugo, mwaga wa mana, ngwinda ga indi nifali wo, latu saga totatu. Vyo jajincha ino ube mbugo. At least, vyo alimu tolangani kwa uno mwaga tohola fertilizer mujindi. Ngwinda mbutwali wo, hola jindi ya mainza. Bamubagali kusikolo muma jenyo alegaba hola. So jino jindi ube batulanganya fertilizer yasika mujindi. No vyo challenge njetu jisi ube yababu.
Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Honorable Garin Kombo MP, has implored traditional leaders in the country to partner with the government in spearheading the campaign on access to free education and health care for children. Mr. Nkombo was speaking when he officiated at the installation of Mr. Peter Chandwe as Senior Chief Nkula of Nchisali District. The minister said that traditional leaders should help in sensitizing communities to encourage more parents to take children to school, taking advantage of the provision of free education by the government. He said the responsibility of traditional leaders is not just about preserving the culture and tradition, but also ensuring that the well-being of the community is protected from negative vices such as early marriages. Speaking at the same occasion, Chief Nkweto commended the government for working hard to uplift the livelihoods of every citizen through the flagship programs such as CDF, which is impacting positively to reduce inequalities, especially in rural communities. The National Heritage Conservation Commission on the Copperbelt Province says it will soon embark on rehabilitating most of its tourist sites in the region. Commission officer in charge in the province, Richard Hangua, says the commission has since sourced funds towards the construction of all basic infrastructure for Lake Kashiba. Speaking when he led a team of other officers from the Ministry of Tourism to undertake a tour of Lake Kashiba in Mpongwe district, Mr. Hangua disclosed that the construction program will be done next year. And Ministry of Tourism Coordinator for Copperbelt and Northwestern Provinces, Francis Chiwele, commended the National Heritage Commission for its commitment for elevating standards of tourism sites in the province. Mr. Chiwele observed that Copperbelt has many tourist sites with the potential to contribute positively to the country's gross domestic product if well developed. And Mpongwe District Commissioner Barton Mokuba says Lake Kashiba has the potential to help change the economic landscape of the district once revamped. This is the main news on Camnet TV with me, Sylvia Zulu. We now take our final set of commercials. Do join me for international and sports news after the break.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions
through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Introducing Darren B, a touch of class. Are you looking for the perfect place to elevate your style and glam up? Look no further. Darren B Touch of Class is your one-stop destination for hair and makeup transformation. Walk into Darren B and walk out feeling like a star. Your transformation starts here. Call us on 0772 870 588 or WhatsApp on 0972 049 213 to book your appointment today. Payments are made via mobile money or point-of-sale machine. Strictly no cash payments. We are located along Mossy Road in Ibex Hill, 4th close on the left after Kalikiliki Police Post. At Darren B, we pride ourselves on our team of dedicated and trained personnel ready to pamper both women and children. Darren B is open 7 days a week from 0720 hours to 1740 hours. From trendy hairstyles and stylish makeovers to flawless makeup, we do it all. Darren B, a touch of class.
Thank you so much for still staying with us. And now in international news, just a few days before the first round of the presidential elections in Madagascar, demonstrators faced off against the police. A few hundred people took to the streets of Antananarivo at the core of the collective of 11 opposition candidates who claim the electoral process is biased in favor of incumbent President Andry Rajoelina. After building barricades, throwing stones at riot police and setting fire to some tires, the protesters were dispersed. Here's a roundup of international news.
Just a few days before the first round of presidential elections in Madagascar, demonstrators faced off against the police on the weekend. A few hundred people took to the streets of Antananarivo at the call of the collective of 11 opposition candidates. They claim the electoral process is biased in favor of incumbent President Andry Rajoelina. I'm fighting for the descendants against an incompetent government. That's why I'm fighting, so that the law is respected in Madagascar. Everyone is subject to the law. No one is above the law. We're fighting for our country. We're fighting against the injustice for which Rajoelina is responsible. These gendarmes are under his orders. That's why we're demonstrating. After building barricades, throwing stones at riot police and setting fire to some tires, the protesters were dispersed. 11 people were arrested and the Red Cross said it treated around 10 demonstrators for minor injuries. The head of European diplomacy, Josep Borrell, has expressed his deep concern about the tense political climate in Madagascar ahead of the polls. Central Cape Town gridlocked on Saturday as tens of thousands of South Africans took part in a march in support of Palestinians living in Gaza. The enclave has been under intense fire from Israel, which went to war to eliminate the militant group Hamas after it staged a bloody cross-border assault on the 7th of October.
An apartheid state that's been waging a war of extermination for the last 75 years against our people. That apartheid state that cannot stop murdering the children. Shut it down. For every Palestinian child in a coffin, we say shut it down. Every piece of land stolen from our people in Palestine, shut it down.
Palestinian officials say over 11,000 people have been killed in Gaza, 40% of them children, since the start of Israel's war. Around 1,400 people, mostly Israeli civilians, were killed in Hamas's attack.
anyone and anything, it is my moral duty, obligation and ethical obligation to stand up for human rights. I believe that any violence towards any person, no matter what race, religion, sexual orientation you are, is completely wrong. And what's happening in Gaza and in Palestine at the moment is a complete violation of human rights.
Pretoria has long been a vocal supporter of the Palestinian cause, with the ruling African National Congress often linking it to its own struggle against apartheid. Mandla Mandela, grandson of former President and Nobel Peace Laureate Nelson Mandela, took part in the protest. Life in plastic, not fantastic. That was the message at a march in Nairobi over the weekend, with environmental campaigners demanding drastic curbs on plastic production ahead of a meeting in the city to negotiate a global plastics treaty.
The purpose of the event today is to highlight plastics reduction and the need for that in the treaty. There is a lot of talk about end-of-pipeline solutions which we do not need right now. Investing in more of those solutions divert the focus away from what we really need to do, which is mandating ambitious targets on plastics reduction.
The people who have the historical knowledge and also the historical depth of controlling plastic pollution, we are the heart of recycling. And I believe that our input, our voices should set base to this treaty.
They highlighted the damage plastics cause to the environment and people. Global production has more than doubled since the start of the century, but less than 10% of plastic waste is currently recycled.
Plastic pollution is affecting everyone all along the value chain, from the moment we extract oil, gas and coal to make plastic, to the moment we export waste to third countries to have it ending up being burnt or being in dump sites. It's affecting people's health, it's affecting the ecosystem health, it's affecting the environment, it's affecting the capacity of people to decide what they want to do with their future, because rather than thinking about that, they're busy cleaning up the world.
Microplastics have been found everywhere, from clouds to the deepest sea trenches, as well as in the human body. Representatives from more than 170 nations will meet in Nairobi from Monday to negotiate what concrete measures should be included in a binding worldwide treaty to end plastic pollution.
And now in sports news, national team coach AVRAM Grant has charged that the team is ready for the upcoming 2026 World Cup qualifiers. Speaking at a major briefing, Grant says the team is fully aware of the mammoth task ahead, but that they will do everything possible to get the best results. He says the first assignment, which was qualifying for the AFCON, was completed, and that now the focus has been shifted to the World Cup. He says going into the first qualifying match against Congo-Brazzaville, the team will be missing some key players, but was quick to mention that the players are equal to the task. He said it is normal in football to have key players miss out due to injuries, hence the need to have more backup players to select from.
Okay, we qualified to Africa, so now we have other assignment, other target is the World Cup. We are in a very, very tough group, and only one team is qualified. But as I promised in the beginning, we will do our best. And we are starting this week. We have 2 games against Congo and then Niger. We'll start to train tomorrow with the players that will come. Not all the players will come tomorrow because few of them are still playing in Europe today. But we are used to it, unfortunately. You know the squad. This is the squad that I named. We missed, let's say, from the game against Ivory Coast, we missed Tandy, that didn't find a team yet, but maybe this week he will be starting to play. And he was very good in this game. Frankie Musonda, that is injured, is doing everything to be fit, but he's not fit yet. And Kampumbo, that was really very good. On the top of it, I will update you that we will miss probably Evans and Kampamba and Lambumbo. We don't know yet. He got injured in the game of his team, so probably also we will miss him because he will not be fit 100%. So maybe after the games today, we will add 1 or 2 players to the squad. But we need to wait and see. At the moment, as I said, the preparation will be in $1. We are playing in $1. We'll meet in $1 tomorrow. We will have training, of course, every day. Some players will have 2. And hopefully we'll come in our best to the game Friday.
That item brings us to the end of the news. But before I go, here are the top stories that made headlines in our news tonight. A heavy rainstorm leaves 35 families in LUNDAZI district homeless. Governance activists advise politicians to focus on issue-based politics. Government urged to lower the people's expectation on development. In international news, police disperse opposition demonstrators in Madagascar. And in sports news, CHIPOLOPOLO coach AVRAM declares the team ready for the 2026 World Cup qualifiers. We now look at our Camnet verse of the day, coming from the book of 1 Thessalonians 5, verse 18. Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Sylvia Zulu. Good night and God bless you.